Broncos country, what is going on? What exactly does 3 days worth of play installs in a Sean Payton offense look like? Well, I'm about to break that down for you so we can have an idea of just the mass amount of information that Bo Nix is digesting at a very rapid pace in order to get ready to possibly start week one, if not the majority of the season, I would think, with the Denver Broncos. Y'all be sure to let me know your thoughts on all this in the comments. We'll open up an old Sean Payton playbook here in a minute as well. Hit that like and subscribe. That helps share this with Broncos country. But let's go ahead and get started, shall we? So, Jay Glazer, I'm going to link his podcast in the description of this video. He said in an interview recently with Sean Payton, or tweeted this rather, said, great insight here from Broncos head coach Sean Payton on the process a quarterback like Bo Nix had to go through with teams in his private workouts leading up to the draft. 125 plays to remember. Way worse than any test I ever crammed for. Pretty interesting stuff. And I linked to the podcast, like I said, in the description of the video. I'll throw it in the comments too. But really, really interesting stuff. Sean Payton here at this one particular point, I paused it here so it shows that he's talking about how, yeah, this 125 plays or so, this is 35 pages of material. Good Lord. And he just had one night to prepare after his pro day, interview with the Broncos the next day. He only had one night to get all this information in. So this is about 40 plays per day of install. What does that look like? Well, luckily, thank you to the internet, we have the old Sean Payton playbook from 2000 with the New York Football Giants. Now, some of these packages have changed a bit, right? You see a lot more spread concepts in the NFL today, a lot more shotgun type of formations, but some of these packages are still included in modern day NFL, especially goal line formation, stuff like that, where you'll see some, 22 personnel or so different things like that, 23, 32, whatever. But this goes to show you just in one day, this is the day one install for the New York Giants here, how many plays they had to learn. And here, I mean, you can see just a ton of base passes. We're talking about, 12 personnel, 21 personnel, 11. Some of these larger packages of like 324, 382, okay? Then we get into the play action plays. We got 8 plays there. We got 4 plays for this, play action. A lot of different play packages here, and pass packages rather. And then we get into the runs. There's a handful of run plays as well. And I think, if I'm looking at this, adding this up very roughly, it is about 40 plays. And this is back in the day of 2 days. This is just your morning install back in July 22nd of 2000, but it's broken up over multiple days now. And as you can see, these aren't just basic pass plays. Bo Nix has to know, hey, when are these things based on coverages? When are they becoming more so like fade routes? Okay. When are we using this alert? Okay. If there are shifts involved, he has to know the entire shift package, the entire motion package. And that even means knowing where guys are lining up at first and where they're ending up at when the play is called, okay? The quarterback has to help everybody get lined up if they're a little confused, right? So he has to know what every shift and motion means for every single play call. And you can see a lot of this concept is very similar. The alignment is kind of what changes with these plays, which is interesting. And then you can see as we dive into some more of the base pass plays, again, based off of what you're seeing, you have to know when things become a go route, okay? In this case, versus cloud coverage only, okay? And when are you going to, when's your tight end going to run this post up the middle? When is he going to cut in on a little dig? You got to read the middle. You got to understand that, okay? Bo Nix has to know these things. And I'm not going to break down every play in detail because, again, this is a 24-year-old playbook. So it is a little outdated in some senses, but you can see just how detailed everything is, where you have to run your routes at a certain depth. You have to understand, hey, if there's an alert or check called, hey, if you're this slot receiver here, that means you're running that post, okay, instead of that go route. Really interesting things, but it just goes to show you just how much information Bo had to put in. And guys, this is just day one. This is just one day, and in this case, it's just one half of the day. I imagine this is just one day's worth of installs now, based off of what Sean Payton and Jake Glazer were talking about. But Bo had to know all this plus another 2 days worth. This is an insane amount of information. And so the fact that it's been reported that he has passed this stuff with flying colors, that he did an incredible job in the private interview with the Broncos, just having one night to learn all this stuff, shows you how sharp he is, okay? And if he is going to be in that place to be our starter for the majority of the year or even week one, goes to show you how bright of a mind we really have with Bo Nix. Granted, we're probably not running the full playbook with Bo Nix week one, right? But it just goes to show you, like, he is a very quick learner. It can take a lot of information in at a very rapid pace. That's going to be good news for the long haul, okay? And I'm just scrolling through here to show you guys, again, what these plays look like, how many plays Bo's really having to know during one day's worth of an install. And we haven't even gotten to the run plays, y'all. Not even to the run plays. Let's see if we could. Okay, here we go. So, and yeah, you'll see a mix of zone run plays as well as power runs in here. Again, with the power, you'll see sometimes with like pulling guards. But I think the biggest thing here to know is Bo Nix has to know when what these shifts are and what that means for the guy, like where he starts and where he ends up. All of those things, you got to know what everybody's doing. And a lot of these run plays, this is why I love the Sean Payton offense. This is a little bit of a tangent because he's doing a ton of shifts and motions pre-snap to understand where they can leverage themselves against the defense, where they can find the most advantageous play. Okay. If you've watched some of these other Denver Broncos offenses, or, in my case, like CU offenses too, not a lot of motion used, and you're like, what the heck? What the heck? That's not helpful. That's not helpful at all. It can be a little bit more complex to take on very early, but if it's done, again, it provides a lot of great advantages. We see that with the Andy Reid offense, okay? Another West Coast guy. I'm just scrolling through here. So that was day one, AM. And PM, you can see it's another install. I imagine, again, in today's world, this is day two more so than day 1 PM, part two. But just goes to show you it's another a huge amount of plays. Huge amount of plays. And like I said, Bo Nix needs to know the responsibility of all these things. So that means he has to understand how you not only how you call the play, but when you check, to the second play of the play call, if that's what's given, you have to know the responsibilities of everybody and how that changes based on the coverages. Like we said, hey, if you're getting cloud coverage, these routes are going to turn into fades or go routes. He has to understand that just as the wide receiver does. And we're not even talking about the stuff that I talked about in the first video that I did maybe a few weeks ago. I'll link it in the comments and description. Just understanding all the different cadences, all the different snap calls, snap counts, everything to do with the line, how you're mixing that up so guys aren't, reading the play on defense or timing the snap perfectly, right? You got to mix all that stuff up constantly. So, yeah, very intricate stuff here that, again, this isn't a 1-for-1, but with the Sean Payton playbook goes to show you how much responsibility of knowledge is put on the quarterback to know. So I hope you guys have found this like really insightful. I think that this is a lot of fun going back and looking into. I wish I could get a Saints playbook, getting into that here at some point, but we'll just deal with that. Maybe sometime I'll cover like the 2 minute offense if that's of interest to you guys. But thank you so much for tuning in. Let me know your thoughts on this. Anything else regarding the Sean Payton offense that you'd like me to dive into more specifically, let me know. Really appreciate it, guys. I'll be back again soon as always. Go Broncos.